I'm the media whiz, because one art form wasn't enough. Let's talk about music and how it connects to early 2000s animation programming. Now, when it comes to the big three family channels, they've dipped into musical experimentation in an interesting way. Disney obviously didn't need to delve into making its own music. They basically own every media art form at this point. I mean, they still do to this day. But of course, they dipped into music by getting TV actors who also have musical experience. And so, by the early 2000s, they were able to branch out into their own music outside of soundtracks and Broadway with Radio Disney. As a result, this gave us former child acts like Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers, so on and so on. By the mid-2000s, Nickelodeon noticed this and tried to do their own version of that with acts they wanted to be successful, like the Naked Brothers Band. And it seems that with famous musicians and Nick, they usually get famous once they leave Nickelodeon, Ariana Grande being the most famous example of it. I mean, they tried to make artists like Drake Bell, Miranda Cosgrove, and Victoria Justice famous, but the only one that blew up was Kat from Victorious, of all people. And then you got Cartoon Network, who seemed sandwiched between it all. They didn't really try as hard as Nick, because it seemed that they didn't even try to replicate Disney's numbers. Before the current state of musical shows that have their own soundtracks, they had a hand at making shows about or featuring music acts like Andre 3000 or the Japanese rock duo Puffy Yumi. They also made a couple of musical bumpers to promote their own shows, and if you remember my Ed Turnal Summer reviews, I looked at two made for Ed, Edd n Eddy, My Best Friend Plank and The Incredible Shrinking Day, and of course, some of CN's more popular shows got a couple of albums released. Powerpuff Girls got 3 of these albums, and who knows, knowing my luck, I just might end up reviewing them at some point. And Dexter's Lab, one of CN's earliest hits, got 2 albums. One was a soundtrack made that features a lot of backing music from the show, and the other is today's review subject, The Hip Hop Experiment. I bet to a lot of people just hearing that, a cartoon about a boy genius having a rap album, sounds very silly. But as you'll soon see, this album surprisingly holds up, all things considered. Let's begin. This is Dexter's Lab, The Hip Hop Experiment. We're going to be skipping the theme song because there's really not a whole lot to say about it. So we're going to start with the second track off of the album, Secret Formula by will.i.am. No. This is pre-Boom Boom Pow will.i.am. Okay. It's basically a song about will.i.am singing about Dexter doing his thing in his lab. Surely something he must have picked up from the boy genius, considering he tried inventing a machine that could replicate a singer's singing, going by the music video for I'm a Bee. To me, what makes this song good is the chorus and the beat. The beat has some bounce to it, like a lot of other early Black Eyed Peas stuff. See, will.i.am, you are a talented producer. You just gotta stop trying to make the same club anthem with the awful techno beats. And then there's the chorus, which is incredibly catchy. Even after listening to this a couple of times, I still can't stop humming to myself, I've got a secret formula. It's a good hook that flows really well with the rest of the song.
I got a secret formula. It's got a little bit of and a little bit of. I got a secret formula. It's a little bit of and a little bit of.
And then there's the very nostalgic music video. I remember seeing this a bunch when I was a kid in between commercials, and it's so refreshing to revisit this music video after all this time. Maybe I'm just a sucker for those cheesy fisheye lens effects that music videos had back then, but man do I love how it looks here. Next up we got Dexter What's His Name by Coolio. Yes, Mr. Gangsta's Paradise himself is on a Dexter's Lab rap album. Now, a lot of the time, when you see hardcore rappers doing things marketed for kids, sometimes it comes off as an ultimate sellout move. Like, look at Ice Cube doing Are We Done Yet, for example. But the great thing about this is that Coolio was more than willing to do this song since he watched the show a lot with his kids. Now, if that's not a cool dad moment, I don't know what is. And damn, man, leave it to Coolio to do an amazing job making a stubby kid with glasses and rubber gloves sound like an absolute gangsta.
What's his name?
Like, tell me that's not a genuinely good flex right there. I mean, it just screams, yeah, Jimmy Neutron, where's your rap album, huh?
The most intelligent minds in the world want to know who's standing 2.5 feet high with stylish glasses and a lab coat. What's his name? Y'all know his name. Y'all know his game is science. We need y'all complete compliance. Yeah, that's 40.2 with the high IQ. He can do anything he think and he might try to. Left brain, right brain, center brain, all brain. Scientifically superior boy, master of all games. Rocket science, car TV and appliance. Magnetics, genetics, prosthetics and synthetics. Robotics, antibiotics, analyze psychotics, anti-narcotics. Dexter's got it, so lock it.
Aside from Coolio's brilliant flow and the use of rhymes, something that songs in 2020 could have learned a thing or two from, the music video is super charming as well. It's just such a nostalgia bomb to see all these old CN faces dancing together while Coolio takes stage. Especially cute cute to see all the cartoon girlies fangirling and squeeing in the crowd over Coolio. I don't know what it is, but it's a pretty cute little visual. Good job, Coolio. I'm proud of you. You did a great job doing the song with a nice music video, scored awesome dad points out of it, and you redeemed any negativity I may have had left over from that awful Falling in Reverse cover I reviewed a long time ago. Next up, we have Love According to Dexter by the late great Fife Dog of A Tribe Called Quest fame, and featuring the new wave R&B duo Slick and Rose. So get this. This is a love song about Dexter's love for the technology that's in his lab. And oddly enough, it's surprisingly effective, with the first verse saying that he says, "Why need friends when you can have a girl, or rather, lab and science to come home to?"
Some may see me as a loner, one who keeps to himself. A 3-foot genius who may talk to himself. Most people think I'm crazy if I you or with two. But when science is your life, tell me what else can you do? Most kids have plenty friends. I think you call that a crew. For me, it's all about a lab. I'm 400 IQ. But this lab is like my babe forever. You are lust. You know my style is personal and you cannot be touched.
Aside from the catchy rhymes provided by the two ladies and Fife's pretty solid rhymes that tie together metaphors of a loving relationship and Dexter's scientific expertise, the beat has a nice loungy romantic R&B feel to it with the rhythm. It has a nice bounce to it, but still has a good slow pace going on, like a better version of Where Is the Love by the Black Eyed Peas. Seriously, does anyone else think that these beats are very similar sounding to each other, or is it just me?
The name's Dex, y'all, and it's the same old story. Where you been, kid? Lounging in the laboratory.
Where is the love? Where is the love?
There still is one lyric that sticks out to me just based on how incredibly dated it is.
Picture me without technology. Better yet, ask Little Bow Wow how he feel without Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, anyone else remember that weird point in history where Little Bow Wow was a thing? Oh, and there's also this.
Rhythm kid smoking needle, about to bring it to your chest.
That's right, Smokin' Needles Records, Jabroni White and the Rhythm Kids. You guys got name dropped on a Dexter's Lab rap album. Jokes aside, it's still a very solid song with good rhymes and a sweet beat. Next up, we have Sibling Rivalries by De La Soul. And if you're like me and you're familiar with these guys' stuff, you're probably thinking the same thing. Wait, De La Soul's on this album? Yes, they are, and they're here with a song telling kids that they should be nice to their siblings. And I get it, a key element of the show was about a dysfunctional brother and sister relationship. Though, while the song is pretty good, I think the song actually works better disconnected from the show. Aside from the lyric claiming baby sis when Dee Dee's clearly the older sibling, the song feels like it's calling for unity amongst petty squabbles that siblings have. And while these two characters love each other at the end of the day, I think most people quickly imagine Dexter yelling at Dee Dee to stop being annoying when they think of this show.
I asked mama for some cake, you like I want some too. Mama, can I have a dime, you like I want one too. When I asked her for a kiss, you cried, I want one too.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but whenever I hear the song, I imagine something more connected to something like, say, Rugrats than Dexter's Lab. I mean, if you wanted to have a song about sibling rivalry, you could have referenced episodes where those two characters fight, like the Robot Mom fight episode or something. Aside from that nitpick though, the flow is pretty good, and for the most part, the message is sweet enough. And the beat is pretty catchy, though. Does anyone else find the baby xylophone a little bit weird? Right, next up is a song dedicated to the show's main villain, Mandark, called Mandark's Plan by YZ. And this song is actually not afraid to get pretty gangsta. They even name drop Nas.
It wouldn't be like Nas if I rule the world. I want power over all the little boys and girls.
This song does for Mandark what Dexter What's His Name by Coolio did for Dexter. It takes the nerdiest villain from CN's roster and turns him into a genuine badass. But whereas the Dexter song had more of a sense of gangsta hype, this song has the right level of ominous with the beat, and YZ does a good job conveying the character's love of just being evil for evil's sake. The man is pure evil, he will take over the world, and he will make Dee Dee his, all the while putting Dexter down intellectually.
My brain has the capacity to fluctuate. Similar to nerves, got you shaking harder than waves. Telepathically, I can make the world my slave. My IQ out your range, shine brighter than day. Man, dark is way past the radar. Operate with lasers, invented quasars. Harder than Chazar, the science superstar with thoughts deeper than Mark. In love with Dee Dee, still a little sneaky in a minute. The world will be mine, you can believe me. As for Dee Dee, she gonna be mine.
By the by, them sampling Mandark's laugh during the chorus.
Man, dark is thinking of a master plan. Man, dark is thinking of a master.
That is just a stroke of genius. Alright, so now we're on the last track of the album, and I'm pretty sure this is the one everybody remembers, so sing along if you know the words. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no! God, God, I remember this song being played a lot back in the day, and it's easily the crown jewel of an already good album. The beat has the right mixture of scientific techno bumping bass interlaced with genuine rap slam, like a lot of the other tracks we've had on here. Combine that with a great hook.
Back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again.
A set of lyrics that summarize what the show is about in a nice little package.
Dexter's in the lab again, making up anything he's imagining. There goes Dee Dee, his sister, he always argues with her. She thinks she knows it all because she's older and she's bigger. Whatever Dexter wants, he just goes and creates. Robots, it doesn't matter the size or the shape. He's always doing crazy tests and making a mess, and if they don't come out correct, well, you know what happens next.
And a memorable music video with two robots grooving to the beat while Dexter's badass walk cycle happens. You've got quite possibly the most memorable song made in the name of Dexter's Lab. That was Dexter's Laboratory, the hip-hop experiment, and, like I've said all throughout this review, this album really holds up. It's very rare for shows nowadays to do this kind of thing, and I appreciate Cartoon Network for trying and succeeding with this one. The production on the beats were good, each of the rhymes and flows work incredibly well with a variety of different artists, and it did a fantastic job making a genuinely badass rap album, in the name of a kid's cartoon of all things. Next time we're going to be going back to talking about crap because we're looking at a web series starring a bunch of TikTok people. Yes, we're looking at an ER-style hospital drama starring a bunch of people who got famous off of lip-syncing to bad music. But that's for next time. Until then, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough.
To get him into trouble or to get him out of it. Sometimes if he needs Dee Dee, then he'll use her. But Dexter's only true best friend is his computer. It's always a lot of fun when you experience Dexter with all his new wacky experiments. So tune in to Dexter, the world's youngest inventor, so you could join him for his crazy adventures. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab again. Not again. Back to the lab again. Uh-oh, back to the lab again. Oh no, back to the lab again. We messed up. Back to the lab.